Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Hairymuppet. Welcome to Satisfactory, my first, and I don't know, maybe my only video. I'm not sure how much I'm going to do about this. Definitely not Let's Plays, because I don't really think I could do a Let's Play. Or I could, but I don't think I want to. Anyway, the point is, this base is awesome. This is my fourth base in this game, and it is by far my most ambitious. As you've read in the title, it is fully capable of producing 10 supercomputers, 30 heavy modular frames, and 60 motors per minute continuously forever. It's at that pace, it uses up just over 10 gigawatts of power, and I've got enough power to keep that running forever. I produce 12.1 gigawatts. And as you can see, it's absolutely massive. Now, just a little bit over the layout, the center is kind of storing all of the things, and all of the conveyor belts is basically just storage. And then you've got all of the factory over this side and all of the factory over that side. I haven't built up the walls on the top level, so you can see some manufacturers, some assemblies, and so forth. So basically, while you're looking at this brilliant, massive base, we're going to go through kind of in a logical way. So I'm going to show you how I planned the base, an overview of the map to show you where I got all the resources. We're going to take a tour through the base, a tour through the power, and at the end I'm going to show you the base actually running, probably on low graphics because FPS is definitely a problem. I'm actually going to turn on FPS right now. If you don't know how to do it, you press Ctrl-Shift-L. That activates the console. You type tilde, and you see down at the bottom that you've got a little thing going now. Type stat space FPS, and now you can see in the top right you've got a little FPS counter. Mine is sitting at 16 because my computer is a POS. Well, it's not. It's the best of the best from 6 years ago, and it's not the best of the best anymore. It's kind of slowing down. It's like a 780 Ti graphics card, which is amazing, but it's starting to break. So I got a new computer, but I haven't got it set up yet. So anyway, done. You want to see the base, so let's move on to the next section. I hope you enjoy this video. Okay, so before we get into showing off the actual base, let's just go through a bit of stuff with the tools I use. So this is satisfactory.greenie.dev. I'll put a link down in the description. Please let me remember to do that. And basically, it's on experimental now, which is a new patch, but it doesn't really affect it, I don't think. So if you want to follow along with what I'm doing, just go to production, type in 10 supercomputers, 30 heavy modular frames, and 60 motors. And then this is probably the view I use the most. The items shows you exactly how much you need of each one, how many buildings you need. Power, not so useful on this screen, but if you go over to buildings, this shows you the total buildings and the total power, which is absolutely massive. So we'll get onto that in a bit as to how I actually managed all that power. But yes, very, very impressive. And the other one is, just let me pull it up, is, well, you can see here. Let's just show this. So this is all the resources I need. 4 miners worth of iron, 6 miners worth of copper. These are pure Mark II. So very, very heavy. 8 of limestone, 7 of coal, 6 of oil, and 4 of Caterium, which is really, really fun. So, excuse me, let's go to the other tool I used, and that is a map. Look at this beautiful, beautiful map. So I started off in the desert region. So my main base, which you'll see in a sec, is just over here. So that's where I built it. Yeah, around this area. And most of the stuff I got near the limestone was not too bad. The iron, copper, I sort of pieced together. Had to go over here for copper as well. Coal was a bit of a pain. Started off with these 3. I actually ended up going south. I somehow got lost and ended up going over there to get coal, which sort of worked out. I think I got that, and I think I hooked up these as well. I didn't end up getting this one, but it was a close call. And what was the other ones I needed to get? Oil was a big pain in the ass. These 4 were pretty readily accessible. I ended up having to go and get these ones I got lost on the way to these ones, which is how I ended up getting this coal. Do not ask me how I got over here. When I got over here, I swear there's a tunnel which breaks the laws of space and time somewhere around this region. You go in there and then you come out here. I don't understand how it works. Maybe that's what this means. Yeah, like a tunnel from there to there. That actually makes sense. Well, it doesn't make sense, but anyway, that's how I got there. And then here I got these, and that was pretty much it. And yeah, belted everything across. No vehicles, all belts, all power poles. No vehicles at all. I don't like vehicles, but the conveyor belts, yeah, I went through a lot of steel setting this up. Caterium was a bit of a pain, so got this one, got this. I had to overload one of these because one of them was blocked off, which sucked. So it was 1, 2, 3, and then I had to go down 4, 5. This is probably the furthest I had to go for resources. But it's Caterium, and because of the advanced recipes, a lot of the advanced recipes need Caterium, quick wire, especially for the computers. Like the computers, the one that produces 3 needs quick wire, and a bunch of other things. So kind of screwed. Now power, I got a couple of geothermals. I got these two for 400. That was meh. I originally had power down here with this oil, but of course I had to cut that off. So I had set up a further bit of power over here. This was 2.7 gigawatts, and then the big power. The big one, which was necessary for my base to run all the way over here. And when I was first playing the game for the first few times, I thought this was just a myth, like a legend. I really didn't believe this was going to exist. So I was planning on moving over here, setting this up, overloading the pumps or something. But I did eventually get over here. It took me a couple of hours of fumbling around in the desert and all this mess. And there's no in-game map. There's no easy way of telling where you are, except by milestones, and they sometimes get a bit weird. But eventually I did find this place, got over there. Took me 3 trips with a big tractor to actually set up enough power to fully tap all of these. But at the end, all of this was 9,000 megawatts each. If you discount the refinery and the pump electricity costs, the actual power a normal oil node will generate is 900 megawatts. 900 per one of these. So 2,700 for here, 9,000 for here. That's 11,700 plus a couple of geothermals is the 12.1 thousand megawatts that I have to power this base. And it's barely enough. It's barely enough. So enough at looking at this wonderful map. Let's go and have a look at the actual base. Okay, so let's start off our base test. I've got the graphics up to ultra, which maybe I shouldn't because I'm running about 18, 19 FPS at the moment, but it's not too bad. I thought XSplit might cut my FPS down by a lot, but it seems to be doing okay at the moment. So anyway, we are up in the far northeast corner where we have those 10 oil normal platforms, and as you can see, here are all the oil pumps, here are my refineries. You need 2 refineries for each pump, and this is the power. And you can see we have a total of 60 oil refineries on this platform. That is absolutely massive. Even if you overclock like 4 oil refineries, actually in that little section below the desert, if you start overclocking there, you might be able to get this many, but this is without any overclocking at all. And each one of these 150 megawatts. So all of this is a total of 9,000 megawatts. Of course, that's taking away these oil refineries, which is 20 by, so that's 1,000, so that's 1 gigawatt. So a total of 8 gigawatt out of all of this stuff. Yes, but you can see absolutely beautiful stuff here. As far as the design of this section, there's not really much to talk about. I just paired up the oil platforms, oil pumps. 120 belts go into a 270 belt, which then goes up into 4 of these machines. They each take 60, and then put 4 of them together, which spits out a total of 150, I believe it is. So 37.5 times 4 is 150, and 150 fuel will support 12 of these refineries, not refineries. What are they actually called? Generators. It will technically support 12 and a half, because each one of these at full speed takes 5 seconds to use up a fuel. So that'll be 12 fuel per minute. So with 150 it goes into 12.5. But if you have 12.5, then you can start to have power dips when you're using all of your power, because some of these will shut down 50% of the time. So not good. And we will get up to about 10,500 megawatts when our base is fully running. I've already done that section. I'm still waiting for the base to die down, but it's not dying down. The last 2,000 megawatts is, oh, there we go, that's the lowest I've seen it. The last 2,000 megawatts is taking a long time to die down. So I thought, what the hell, I'll do the power section. What's going on here? You can see this, it's ready to go, but this backed up. This is a problem that I've seen a few times. I thought it was because I was just doing too much and I was breaking the game, and I think that probably is the case, but here there's not a lot going on, so I'm not sure why that happened. But I have seen that a few times. It just fixes itself after a little while. Anyway, so this is the power. Let's go back. Let's have another beautiful look at all of our generators. They're generators, not refineries. So there we go. Look at that. That's beautiful. Can we get on top of these things? Not sure. Not sure if we can. There's ladders on some things and there's not ladders on others. This one does not have a ladder, and I do not have a jetpack because I never bothered to make one. Oh, there we go. I see a ladder. I see a ladder. I could build a lookup tower as well, but I'm just going to use this. We're going to get a good look at all of the generators. There we go. Look at that. 60 generators. That is absolutely magnificent stuff. Definitely the biggest power I've ever built. And yes, as I said, barely enough to get this base going. So we're going to take a break here. Well, I'm going to take a break. It's probably going to take me 20 minutes to run back to my base so I can do the rest of the review. But for you guys, it'll be pretty instantaneous. So yeah. Alrighty, so back to the main base tour. I was going to run all the way back to the main base, and then I was like, you know what, let's take the scenic route. So I ran back most of the way. You can see over here, this is my secondary power plant off in the distance. That's where I had the 3 normal oil pumps up in the north, and over here is the 2 copper pure nodes. So instead of running all the way back to the base, I'm going to get up there. I'm going to take a ride on here. So I love riding on conveyor belts all the way back. It's funny, but you actually don't move as fast as the resources. So the resources move, or you move faster than the resources. I can't remember which one, but you definitely move faster than the resources, even when they're going full speed. And these ones are not going full speed. I'm still waiting for my base to sort of idle down. It's not happening as fast as I think it should. I blame the copper wire. There's 500 stacks. Like each stack is 500. That takes ages, so I blame the copper wire. Let's jump up here. Merging with the Caterium from all the way over there. That was a pain in the ass to find as well, but moving on along. And you can see this. Most of the time when I got my conveyor belts from way out in the middle of nowhere, I did this because usually I get more than one at a time, and it's beautiful. I swear to God, I do have view distance turned back up to ultra, so we should be seeing long distance, so it's just fog. Sometimes there's fog and sometimes it sucks, which really does suck because I want to have a really, really big look at my base. Like I want to see the whole thing just beautiful, and this fog is just... There we go, the fog's going away. So let's have a first glance. Actually, it won't be a first glance because we've sort of... There we go. You can see the ramp. This is the ramp that all of my coal comes down. All the coal was on a massive cliff. I thought it was really close to the base, but there was a massive cliff and a massive waterfall. Oh, it was just a massive pain in the ass. We got some more coal from there, some old power plants way back in the day before I started using oil power. This was my power. That was pretty pathetic. So we're merging with the coal, and now we're going over here. These conveyor belts were cutting through the rock wall at one point, but I went around it so that I could actually ride this thing all the way back without getting knocked off by the bloody conveyor wall. But it's going to start getting very, very impressive in a second when you see all of these belts start to merge. You see over there, there's another copper mergy just on its lonesome. I think that's a 120 actually, not even a full 240s, because of the way I had to sort of piece together normal copper nodes. There weren't enough pure nodes. But here we go. You can see in the distance, that is the main base. Haven't got walls around the top level, never got around to it, but I got walls around most of it. This big bloody rock is in the way, but once we get around this, which I think is the Caterium actually, I think this is where the Caterium node is on, this one. There we go, starting to see some really awesome stuff. And we might start to see some belts soon as well. There's a bunch of limestone and iron belts over there, but here we go. This is the ramp going up to the Caterium, so that's up the top. The bloody base actually went out so far. Whoop, bit of lag here, bit of lag, come on. Do not lag at this crucial moment. There's the base. We're just gonna step off for a sec and have a look at how massive this base is. My God, that is an absolute monster. Look at this thing, absolutely massive. And here we go, all of the belts coming in down in the bottom. So we got some more copper coming in. This is still Caterium. I'm gonna hit my head here, so I better get off. But here we go. So this is the official start of the tour of the base. I'll get a nice, well, you've already seen the nice long shot, because that'll be the start of the video before I did all the map and all of the calculation stuff. But here we go. So this was the Caterium, just went in this corner, which is the northeast corner, I think. So all the Caterium went in there, 3 more from over there. And then down the bottom, if we go over here, we can see the coal. I think I got 7 or 8 belts of coal all going in. Ah, oh, is the base finally dying down? God, I've been waiting for this for so long. Coal doesn't, oh, the petrol's, the oil's still going a bit. Look at that. We'll get into that later, but that's beautiful. We won't go inside yet. I'll just do a quick run around. There's my hub over there. Hub's not really that important. We got 6 oil coming in. These are all 240s coming in. Anything that comes into the base is a 240. We got a nice copper from the southeast coming in there on a 240. Got a couple of things in here, like a 120 and a 120 merged into a 240 going up. But this is where a lot of the belts came in. We got 6 copper, I think, 4 iron, because we use the advanced recipe, which is 1 iron ore and 1 copper ore equals 3 iron ingots. We don't need that much iron, which kind of sucks, because iron is really easy to get and copper is not as easy. And there we go, there's the limestone, 8 limestone, a lot of concrete in this base. 30 heavy modular frames per minute takes up a lot of concrete, so that's 8 times 240 limestone all going into the base. That's beautiful. My FPS is not that good because this stupid base is not dying. We'll have to figure out what's still going on in this base. It's just not dying. I really should be waiting until this base is fully shut down. But you know what? I want to do it. I want to review, so let's go in here. Let's have a look at the ground floor. And this basically the middle floor, the middle section of the building is kind of just the belts and the storage. That's all it is. There's no machines whatsoever in this section, except a couple of hacks that I've put in. Like this has got steel plates in it from a hack I did ages ago. So what we're going to do, I should switch over to my other mouse, and yeah, so you can see there's a whole building complex over here. This is where the actual machines are, and we've got this massive, absolute, just massive amount of belts going in between. So the limestone goes up here, and then the concrete goes back up there. Or, no, that doesn't make any sense. What's going up here? I think there's limestone, and then the concrete comes out here, and here is copper ingots or something. So anyway, basically everything comes in to a double high storage. and just fills up. So a lot of storage, a lot of stashes, a lot of buffers, absolutely everywhere. And yeah, it's beautiful. So we're going to start with the simple stuff. Not going to talk too much about this going on here. Not a lot interesting on this floor. There is over here, we can talk about this a little bit. Actually, this is a bit of a mess. I actually talk about this at the end of the video, which I've already recorded, so I won't talk about it now. But let's go upstairs. Let's get away from all of this stuff and let's go upstairs. And I apologize as well for the power section, because I realized I had my bloody weapon out, because there was these flies that came out of nowhere, started hitting me. I had to get my weapon out and I forgot to put it away. So it blocked that gorgeous shot of all of the generators, but you know, I'm not going to run out there and do that again. There's a freaking 20 minutes walk to get out there, and there's vehicles and crap that, you know, the vehicles is a pain in the ass to get over here. So anyway, not going to talk too much about this. This is Caterium ingots. All the belts go in there, a bunch of Caterium ingots come out. I use this sort of layout a lot. So basically I have one belt going in to a bunch of splitters. It comes straight off. That's pretty straightforward. And then what I do is I have these risers. I can't remember what the friggin' hell they're called. The stackables. My computer's crashing again. Does this all the time. It does this even when I'm not recording, so it just can't be helped. So we've got stackables. The belts go up there. They go over the top, and then they go down to where they're needed. This is fucking 4 smelters, and each one takes 60 per minute, so that's a whole 240 belt. You do not need a lot of smelters for Caterium, but it does not produce a lot of ingots. So you can see some of these ones are shut down, and we're going to jump through the middle here. I want to use the mouse, my good mouse, but it's the one that does random spinny things, so I kind of don't want to use it while I'm recording, but see, go to the edge and it just randomly spins. Because it's a roller mouse, so it's on a roller thing, and if you move to the edge, it's just, it just spins forever. So I don't want to use that, but I just did. So anyway, I'm comfortable with that. So anyway, the ingots come out, they go into a bunch of mergers, and then they go out, and generally they'll go up. So I've kind of interlaced these buildings so they're not on exactly the same level. You can see here, ground for this one is actually, I think it's either 2 or 3 below ground for this one. I think it's 3 below ground for this one. So this is where my mouse is the floor. So you get like 2 below the floor comes out, and that comes out to ground level for this building, and then this one goes up to here, and that's ground level for the next one. So this is kind of interlacing the buildings to allow the products of each manufacturing floor to go up to the next floor quite easily. So anyway, that's Caterium ingots. We're not going to talk about them anymore because they are kind of boring. Let's move into this one. This is a lot bigger. I kind of want to look up tower actually so I can see the whole lot, but we'll just have to make do. But these are all iron ingots. Get up there. I should be able to get up there. No, I fell down. This is kind of embarrassing. There we go, got up there. So as you can see, quite a lot of buildings, quite a lot of output. I'm glad that these guys have died down. You can sort of tell they're dying down. Some of these are still running a little bit, but they're probably just building up internally. So you got 1 iron and 1 copper coming in, feed in, and then the output. So because we input 1 of each and output 3, we have 1 input belt of each and 3 outputs. So this is just the reverse of what I was doing with the input for the Caterium. You just do all the inputs like this, the outputs like that, sorry, the mergers going along, doing their thing. And you do the same thing over there, except you put the output up to a stacker. This is the other interesting thing I do, which is not that interesting, but, you know, same old, same old. So the inside lane is pretty normal. The outside lane, you have a just a thing, another stacker. This one goes up here and then goes down. It looks a bit jank if this belt has some really tall things like copper wire, but for the most part it's not too bad. And yeah, these guys can go up quite steep. They can go even steeper than this, I think. You probably put a stacker like this and it would still go up. I don't think that one would go up though, but this one would definitely go up. So yeah, absolutely fine. So this is not too, yeah, it's pretty good. You can see I put windows for the power lines because, yeah, I am all about that awesome stuff. So anyway, let's move through here. Let's finish off the rest of this floor. If there's nothing new, I'm just going to mention stuff. If you go to that green dev site, which I mentioned, which I showed before, you can see all of the measurements and all of the buildings, and they will generally match up here. Sometimes I have a few more buildings just to match up amounts and stuff, and that's pretty much it. So we'll go over south, actually. We'll go over south here for a quick sec. And this is... No, so this is just the coal. We don't want that. We want to go north, actually. And by north, I mean vertically up. So what I've actually done is iron, the iron ingots. See, this is why I don't want to use this mouse. I'm not going to use that mouse anymore. All right, so the iron ingots go up here. And in some cases, we don't actually go up to the next floor. They go horizontally and then end up as inputs on the same floor. And I did this because I wanted steel ingots to be on the same floor as iron ingots. I didn't want to move steel ingots up again because they become steel pipes, and steel pipes are used for everything. So I didn't want to have to do that again. So yeah, so they kind of go horizontal, and the coal comes up from down below. This is one of the absolute messiest things I've had to do. Not so much for this area. I mean, this is pretty messy, and then steel pipes up above is messy. Lag. Sorry about that. This will happen every now and then. As soon as this base shuts down, it should stop happening, but even then it might. I don't know what's still using power. I really don't. But this is the mess. See, I actually didn't build the buildings up this length because I just didn't have the room. So I had to build a mini bus going this way, and then the buildings all go down this way. And this is because steel is absolutely insane. So if I go over and I pull up my calculator again, steel is one of the biggest things that I had to do. So foundries, not too bad. We got 36 foundries, which is less than the iron ingots, but yeah, they're big, but they're not too bad. But they are still big with relation to everything else. The machines that build the steel pipes, though, insane, absolutely insane. As you can see, exactly the same sort of method I use for the iron ingots. Just jump over there. The real mess is in this bus, and I've kind of basically just put them in sets of two. So this is 2 belts, this is 2 belts, this is 2 belts, and so on and so forth. So every set of foundries takes in 3 iron, 6 coal, and produces 6 steel ingots. So we've got 2 belts coming in here, and over on the coal we got 2 coming out, and over in the iron we got 1 coming out, and then the rest continue on. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that, because this is an absolute mess, and it's a mess again once we get up to steel ingots, which I'm not going to do just yet. I'm going to finish this floor. And the last thing, well, not the last thing, because we've got oil over here. And yeah, oil is pretty insane. It's insane because the machines are so big. Like, I think I needed 40, 50 machines, something like that. Let me just have a look. Yeah, just over 40 machines, which isn't too bad. But when you consider this is how big the machine is, 40 machines is a lot. Once we get up to the balconies on that upper levels, we can have a look down on the oil refineries, and I'm stuck on a belt, and you will see how magnificent it is. You can't really see anything from down here, but it's like giants in the playground right here. Look at how massive this is. I don't know if I can go up this ladder like I did for power. That'll give me a bit better look. There we go. Still can't really see how magnificent this is, but yeah. Thank God these guys aren't running because they take up a lot of power. But this is necessary. I need almost 800 rubber per minute and almost 400 plastic per minute to keep this base running. And that's for 10 supercomputers per minute. 10, okay? This rubber and whatever else is not really used for anything else. No, this is not used for heavy modular frames. It's not used for whatever the other thing was, motors. They don't use it. It's used solely for the supercomputers. And my God, supercomputers! This all of this for 10 supercomputers per minute. I mean, what the hell? There's going to have to be a rebalance at some point, because if you have something coming off down the line that's like, oh, this takes 5 supercomputers, you're just going to be like, well, you know, I don't even want to make that thing. It's just like, why do I need that thing? Because it's just going to take me forever. Here we got some copper ingots. We don't use copper ingots to make copper wire or wire, because that's just dumb. There's a much better copper wire, or I should start calling it wire, because you can make it from ingots. So instead of making 3 off 1 or something like that, you make 9 off 2 with the iron ingots. So I do use these for quick wire though. You can make a ton of quick wire using 2 copper ingots and 1 Caterium ingot, which is the only way I got all the quick wire I needed. I got so much quick wire, but with the lack of Caterium mining on the bloody map, this is the only way I could do it, because if I use the normal quick wire recipe, there's literally not enough Caterium on the map to do it, so I had to use the alternate recipe. And this is concrete, so this is pretty much straightforward. Chuck a whole bunch of limestone in, 3 belts of, excuse me, I think I need to take a drink, but 3 belts of limestone, 1 belt of copper. That is pretty straightforward. And as I mentioned before, that's good. As I mentioned before, when you're making heavy modular frames, you need a lot of concrete. Mainly for these things, these bloody encased industrial beams. They were a pain in the ass. Absolutely. I didn't actually use them until I like 3/4 made the base, because crafting them by hand was too much of a pain, and automating them was one of the last things I did because they're so high up in the tech train. Whoops. Using the wrong mouse again. Should stop doing that. Anyway, that's the first floor. So now we've got some more components, and we start to... Yeah, I'll explain that in a second. That is a mess. So here we go. This is where we make the quick wire, so the copper ingots. This I am particularly proud of. I did watch a YouTube video first to figure out how to do this, but this is a balancer. So if you played Factorio before, you know what a balancer is. You put in X belts, you put out Y belts, and they balance. In Satisfactory, it's a lot more complicated. So for example, this one comes out on a 240. I can't actually see the third one because it's hidden. Don't want to stand there. But this guy spits out 3 belts. So bam, bam, bam. 3 belts. And then you've got a merger over here. This one takes in 3 belts. Bam, bam, bam. It takes 1 belt in from that merger splitter, another one from that one, which I think goes over the top there, and then a third one from there, which goes all the way over the top here. So you have 3 splitters, 3 belts from each splitter, and they all go into different mergers, and that's how you do a balancer. And then you've got the 3 outputs here, and they all go on the top. Now, the reason I did a balancer for this particular one is because of the way I set up the gold wire, quick wire. I might as well go show you this right now. But I think I set it up in an interesting way. Or, to be fair, it was something weird. Like, I was spitting out 240 copper ingots, and these take 15, which should have been okay, but maybe it was something else. I can't remember exactly why I did it, but it was I think I just wanted to make a balancer for this particular thing. I probably could have gotten away without making one, but then again, these 3, if we go down really quickly and have a look at the copper ingots where they were being made, I think one of their sections wasn't as productive as the others. So this one, yeah, because I had it as 1 long line of machines and 1, you can see this belt, the belt on the far side, barely moving. That's because it doesn't have that many foundries attached to it, or smelters. I think it's just smelters. So it's only got like 4 smelters at the end. And rather than doing something funky with the belts over here, I needed 19 smelters? I can't remember. Yes, it was 19 smelters, and you can't take 19 smelters and put it equally into 3 different output belts. So I kind of just said whatever, and then put bugger all in this last belt, and then did a balancer. So that's why I did the balancer. So it was a good idea after all. But let's go back up there. So that's Quickwire up there. We started showing you that, but I'll show you that after I finish doing this floor. So this has some interesting stuff as well. Rubber kind of got split all over the place. This is as well, I did a 2 to 3 balancer this time because I spit out like not 800 rubber. I think 800 rubber a minute, but I needed it in 3 different places. So it ended up on 3 different 450 belts. None of them is ever going to run at full speed, obviously, but I needed them in 3 different places, so I decided to split the third one out here instead of splitting it upstairs. And this is a 2 to 2 splitter, a 2 to 2 balancer here. So you can see this one moves over to there, and then this one goes over there, so it's a 2 to 2. And I just hacked it afterwards. I put the third one out here, and a third one from there out there. So that's a 2 to 3, which is a lot easier than a 3 to 3. Over here, we also move the concrete over there, and over here is our risers. I'm not sure if that's their technical name, but this is how I get them up to the next floor, because concrete, it skips a gap. You don't need it until industrial beams and stuff like that, and that doesn't get made until much later when you have pipes and when you have other things. So it needed to be skipping a couple of steps, which is what I did here. And then I think I skipped it again because I needed concrete for heavy modular frames, which is insane. And then this is all the plastic, because the plastic, oh bloody game, stop stalling. The plastic and the rubber got skipped for a long time. Like a long time. It needed to wait for quick wire and copper wire to be done, which took ages. So that's why it got rised all that time. Over here, we already sort of showed that. This is the steel. And over in here is where the iron ingots get put to use. So let's go and let's start over here. I want to start over here because I know I showed the quick wire for a sec, but we'll get back to that. We'll show the quick wire again. That beautiful 5 stacking belt. I want to show this because this is one of the most impressive rooms in the entire base. So similar to the steel ingots, we got basically just a mini bus over here. So we got steel ingot coming in and steel pipes going out. This is impressive because of the sheer number of machines. There are, let me have a look at the numbers, 107 constructors in this room. That's right, over 100 constructors. They're all off now, thank God, otherwise my FPS would be terrible. I think I upped it to rounded it to 108 or 110 or something. But this is absolutely insane, and it's all because of this stupid recipe which takes 15 in and 15 out. Is it so hard to do 30 to 30 so I could not have an extra 50 constructors? I didn't want to overload because overloading is not power efficient. You overload by 50% and the power pretty much doubles. You overload by 100% and the power pretty much triples. And I am up against the line. You will see it at the end of this video how much power I use, but it's absolutely, you get right up here. The power used is right up here when the base is fully functioning. It's still at 2,000 megawatts. What the hell is still using power? I don't know. We'll have to find out. But everything at the lower level was stalled, so I really don't know what's still using power. Need another drink to get me through this video. Let's move on. Let's look at copper. There we go. So copper's still moving. I don't see how copper can be doing it. It must be driving the foundries, and the foundries use a bit of power because they're advanced machines. But anyway, let's get past this one. This is just a mini one. It only produces 2 full belts of copper wire, so yeah, pretty lame. These are the big ones. So this is producing 4 lanes of copper wire. So I actually had to put up a separate thing over there, and then there's a massive mess going to the middle. But these guys, I mean, what am I doing? I got stuck on a ladder. That's not good. So we have a look at the recipe here for this guy. 15 into 67.5. 67.5, what do you do with that? Like double that is like 135, double that is 270. So it actually does work. You get 4 of these machines, they produce 270, which was really annoying because I had 240 as my base template for everything. All of the pure pumps brought in 240. If I had normal ones, I doubled them up to be 240. I was using 240 everywhere, and along comes bloody copper wire, which insists on spitting it out at 270. And what can you do? Like, you put 3 machines instead, and then you end up with just over 200. There's like 206.25 or some stupid number like that. I don't know. I mean, what do? You don't want a belt with 206.25 or whatever it is. So you accept the 270, and then when you're using the copper wire, you've got to remember, oh, this is actually 270 on this belt, not 240 like everything else. It's really annoying, especially because balances are really hard to make. Like, forget a 7x7 balancer, that's never going to happen. You know, you can't do that sort of crap, so you have to deal with it on a belt by belt basis. This is iron plate. There's not much to say about this. I needed 320 iron plate, so I chucked in 640 iron ingots because it's a 2-to-1 ratio. This is technically more than 640, but it backs up and it's fine. I'm going to go into the other room now, actual entrance of this, and I will show you some of the craziness that I had to do to sort of deal with this stuff. So you can see we needed 640. Coming out of each of these is 240. So 3 of them is 720. So I don't want to just take 720 because that's a waste. So what I did was I took out of this one, split it, this one, and then this one, and then this one goes off in a future. Don't worry about this. This is a machine producing, oh god, my computer, it's so bad. Is just producing iron rods because they're not used in the chain at all. They're never used as part of the base, but you need them for building shit, so I just made it there. And then this other one goes over and gets merged with this other thing that produced the crappy iron ingots. So this is the one with only like 4 foundries instead of the normal amount. So these get merged and go off and do copper wire or something like that. And this is the one that feeds into the copper wire with the least machines. So this is the kind of thing you have to manually do to make sure that everything meshes together. You can't just throw belts everywhere. You've got to remember this is 240 and this is 240 and this one is 720 minus 640. So this one is going to be 80. I'm not sure how much this one is. I have to look. It's like total ingots with the remainder of whatever all of these ones are coming out here, and you add those two together and then you make as many machines as you need. It's a freaking nightmare, I swear to God. But anyway, let's go over and look at the quick wire, because that is, no, it's not concrete, that's Hairymuppet ingots. There we go. So starting to see a bit of how good this is, but once we go up another level, it'll start getting really interesting. So here we go, this is quick wire. This is basically just copper wire on steroids, pretty much. It does go into the assembler, the bigger machine, but you can see 1 and 2 becomes 12. These alternate recipes are insane, like 90 per minute. This is another one that pissed me off because 90 doesn't go into 240. So this is another one where I had to put 3 machines together and they make 270. So another one that's 270. I think I kind of overdid it. I think I did a lot more assemblers than I needed to, and then treated it like 240 anyway out the other side. So there's probably a lot of machines that aren't being used to their full capability here, but whatever, I'm not really fussed. Like, this is not a perfect base. It does what it needs to do, and if there's any doubt, I build more machines. And if they're not needed, they're not needed. If a machine is not running, it doesn't use power, so I don't care. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. How's the power going? Please tell me we are down to nothing. See, we've been using 2 gigawatts for the last... What the hell is this doing? What is still using power? I really wanted to test this base out when it had no power, but it's been like literally an hour since I shut down the top level, and it's still going. Anyway, so this is getting into some more interesting components. We take out rubber here. which is used over there for circuits, I think. So this is the mid-level. So this is producing, up above this is producing rotors, it's producing reinforced iron plates. This is the industrial plates over there. I'm not sure if there's anything really interesting about this. This is interesting. I use this a lot, especially when I started to get industrial plates, so I could start using the 450s. So this is basically 3 240s or 270s, depending on what the hell is coming out of the machine, which is sometimes confusing. But 3 240s is 720 and 3 270s is 810. Regardless, it fits into 900, which is 2 of the 450s. So this one is a merger, this one's a splitter, this one's a merger. So you get 2 belts out of this. And I basically did this because I started hating belt management once I got up into these machines, and it's a lot easier to deal with 2 belts than it is to deal with 3 belts. So using the 450s means using less belts overall to get your product in. Another drink before my throat completely dies. So yeah, that's why I started using this. I didn't use that below because the 450s were just too much of a pain to make, and you can see how many I use. If I use these everywhere, I would still be crafting industrial steel beams right now, handcrafting the damn things. So anyway, let's go and have a look. You can see there's a lot of craziness over here. There's a lot of these sort of things going on, the double merger and splitter to get to the 450s. What the hell? What is still using? Okay, we need to investigate this real quick because I'm really quite concerned. What is using this? Where is this going? What is this doing? There's got to be an explanation for why I am still using so much copper wire. Well, oh, my game. Oh, I hate you, game. I hate you, game. So this is crazy. I thought it was going this way, but it's actually going that way. That's how fast the belts are. Alright, we gotta go investigate this. I know it's supposed to be given a base tour, but the base tour is supposed to be operating at a beautiful FPS because everything is shut down and everything is... Oh, it's the copper wire. Not the copper wire, but the cable. This is all going into producing cable. And the reason that cable is so crappy is because this one, the cable, goes on a riser upstairs and then it goes into another one of these. And then it's used for those bloody high-speed converters, which I'm probably still building because they take forever, and I had a full thing that I didn't cut off for those, so probably shooting myself in the foot there. But anyway, enough of that. We got a beautiful belt system over here as well. I'll show this at the end when these are actually all moving. It looks so good, but I can't do that right now because it'll kill my FPS. So anyway, let's go up and let's look at some more stuff. So this is... What is this doing? This is... I think I skipped a step. I think I skipped a floor. Did I skip a floor? Or did I just skip a product? I feel like... Yeah, because we did this. This is iron plate. God, my FPS is bad. And we skipped this. So this is cable. This is cable. Yeah, just a whole bunch of constructors. I think there's about 20 of them going all down the way. This is probably contributing to our power usage still, which sucks. Maybe we should just turn this off. Let's turn it off. Let's destroy that conveyor belt. There. I don't want these guys running anymore because machines running slows down the base and I don't want it to happen. Okay. Although those bloody the machines up above will still drain. Anyway, let's go up and have a look at that machine. I want to see if that machine is still draining stuff. Or... No, wait, that's above this. So anyway, what are we doing? We're in this floor. We're building cables. I think this is the last thing we built on this floor that we need to look at. So that's right. We're going up to the mid-tier items. This is actually a high-tier item, but this is one of the last ones I built on this floor. Why are you still producing? You should not be producing anymore. See, you're backed up. Backed up. Why are you still producing? Ah, it's at 98. So it was on the very verge of backing up. But, so, okay. I'm glad I cut off the... See, it looks like it's actually going to the right, but it's actually going to the left. It's just going so fast, and my frame rate is so bad that... There we go. It looks a little bit clearer now. Anyway, this will continue to drain because there's massive buffers of cables anyway, but yeah. So anyway, this is one of the more advanced things. This is the first time we hit the manufacturer, and this is the high-speed connectors, which is used directly for the supercomputers. As you can see, there's not really much to it here. A little bit more complicated. We had the quick wire going over the top. We've seen that before. We had 3 belts this time, so I just crunched this over exactly the same as I did before. That's beautiful. And yeah, just as a bit of information, these guys take up 2.5 by 2.5 foundations. So if you're ever planning for building this stuff, that's how much it takes. I like to split everything out into foundations. You could probably do this a bit tighter in terms of the width, but then it would be a bit more painful. So I just do it like this, it's fine. Let's have a look. Now this is where things get a bit crazy. We use a lot more 450 belts here. This is reinforced iron plate. I think it's reinforced iron plate, yep. So you can see, here I'm doing a different method. So normally I take the belts over and I take them through a certain amount of machines and then I drop them down once I need them. This one I'm doing differently because things didn't go in perfectly. Like if I have a look at this machine, it takes in 75 per minute. Now 75 doesn't divide into 240 and it doesn't divide into 270. So I'm kind of screwed no matter what I do. So what I did is I got a belt going all the way through, and after 5 machines? After 5 machines, I merged the other one in. I don't know why it's 5 machines actually. It should be, maybe it shouldn't be 5. Because this one is 75 per minute, and 75 multiplied by 5 is 375, which is more than 270 but less than 450. So I could have actually gone for 6. But the thing is, this hasn't got 450. This is from that stupid 2 merges 1 splitter setup where it takes 3 270s and converts them to 2 450s. So 3 270s is 810. Divide that by 2 is 405. So this is not actually 450. This is only 405 coming in here, which is enough to do 5 machines because they take 375 with 40 left over, and then we merge this in, and then we keep going. So this is the sort of maths that I had to do to get this working. It's completely bonkers. So I did that maths. I did this split into 2 different things. It was some sort of stupid situation where if I split the whole lot in here, it would be more than 450. But if I split the whole lot over there, there wouldn't be enough for this machine. It got very messy. It got very annoying. So I'm glad that I finished this base. I don't have to worry about that anymore. But there we go. Reinforced iron plate. All on 1 belt. It's actually 160 per minute is all the reinforced iron plate we need. Which doesn't seem like a lot, but it is. Trust me, it is. And I didn't use screws. I didn't use screws anywhere in this base. I'm very happy about that. It turned out to be a good decision because there is an alternate recipe for screws, I think. If I alt-tab over to my thing and have a look. Yeah, there are alternate recipes for screws using steel or using ingots, but I'm just like, whatever. I got copper wire, so I might as well just use this stitched iron plate recipe. It was a pretty good deal. I mean, I got tons of wire, so why not? The recipe to create wire is pretty good. Here we go, rubber and wire produces circuit boards. Circuit boards are a pain to make. They're not made very fast, but you don't need a huge amount of them, so this worked out. This one's actually going on a bloody slow belt, conveyor belt Mark II, only 120 per minute. That's slow. You only need 86 for this base, 86 circuit boards per minute. They're only using 2 different things. And then here we go with the rotors, using the steel pipes. There's a lot of stuff that uses the steel pipe in here, a lot. So that's why I needed 100 bloody machines building steel pipes. But anyway, there's the rotors. This is pretty standard stuff. If we go over here, I think we have the steel. More steel. Look at this. This is 2 450 belts of steel pipes, going in here, and the concrete to make the industrial beams. 18 to make 3. That's quite a lot. But yeah, I needed a bunch of that stuff. And I tell you what, once I made this thing, you can bet I started using 450 belts freaking everywhere. So let's go down again and then go up on the other side. We're almost at the point where we're starting to get a good view of that oil processing system. So yes, it should be absolutely beautiful. Once you get right up the top, you start getting really good views. Here we go. Look at this. That is a thing of beauty. They're still running. My God, what are we using plastic for? As far as I'm aware, it's supercomputers and those bloody high-speed connectors, which are still running. Yeah, that's it. High-speed connectors. Those bloody pains in the asses. I should have shut them down as well. I should have cut off the conveyor belt going into the storage of those, like I did everything else when I shut this base. But anyway, here we go. Some more high-level things. I think this is stators. So they use a quick wire recipe. One of the reasons why I needed so much quick wire. But this is the only alternate recipe for stators, and if you don't do it, you have to use, like, I don't know what the original recipe is actually. If we have a look, alternate stators, steel, and then copper wire, which we could have done, but 1 stator using 3 steel or 3 stators using 6 steel. So this would have massively increased the amount of steel pipes I needed if I didn't use the alternate, which means I had to use quick wire. But you know, it was kind of, that was probably a big theme in this base. It's like, get more quick wire to use a lot less of everything else. So the quick wire gave me a lot of savings, but it's so hard to get quick wire, so hard to get Caterium. But it really saved me a lot in the rest of the base. What do we got here? Modular frames. This, of course, the alternate uses steel as well. You can see steel is everywhere. Really, really everywhere. Freaking 100 constructors. I'm still pissed off about that. Here's one of the places that we use circuit boards for the AI limiters. Thank God we don't need a lot of these. There's just like 4 machines, 20 per minute or something like that. Something stupid. So that was beautiful. Obviously a direct supercomputer component. And yeah, that is that. So that is it. That for the sort of high level components. And then we go up, and this is the second last floor of actual storing stuff. And you can see here, it's a lot simpler. There's no crazy amount of belts going everywhere. Single belt for rotors, single belt for industrial beams. This is relatively sparse compared to the other ones. We did have to get a lot of quick wire up for the computers, because the computers use a ton, and we had to move some of this over for this one, which I already covered. We brought them in over there. I did some miscalculations. I could have brought them in from the lower floor, but I forgot that I hadn't put anything here. I thought this was going to have to go up here on the same level as all the top level ones, and I forgot that there was nothing there. So ended up rising all the quick wire, and then I had to rise it anyway for the computers. But anyway, let's go into the last section. I'm just going to save the computers for last because they're probably the most awesome. But anyway, let's go over and let's have a look at the motors and the the heavy industrial frames. Here we go, right up the top. There's the impressive view. Or did we see this view already? I can't remember if I already went up this ramp. But there we go, that's beautiful. Look at all those refineries, and I need a drink. Those of you with careful eyes will also see a big old building over there. That was my original iron rod plant, and over there in the far side you can see my original copper wire. This was using non-alternate recipes and just building based on what was around them. This was when I didn't know what I wanted to do back then. I just knew I wanted to do something big. So I set up a whole factory, which just built crap loads of stuff. And then I realized I needed a plan. And so I made a plan, and then I realized that that plan would suck unless I used alternate recipes. So I did, and it turned out that making iron rods wasn't really necessary anymore. And making wire out of copper was a dumb idea. So anyway, here we go, manufacturers. There's no ladder on these things, which is quite annoying, to be honest, because I really want to jump on top of them. Ah, go away. So what we're going to do is we're going to make ourselves a ladder. And then we can have a sort of upper look at what's going on. So here, this is the first machine which takes in 4 components: concrete, steel, industrial beams, and that. It doesn't really matter if you have the more big ones on the front or in the back. Actually, I prefer to have the big ones in the back, because if you have to have an overhead belt for the ones in the back, it's a lot easier to do if you don't have to deal with overhead belts as well. I have made that mistake a couple of times, having the overhead ones in the front side close to the machine, and it's a lot more painful. So if you have a massive item where you need a lot of it, always do it further away from the machine. It's a lot easier to handle. So anyway, these are heavy modular frames. I never get that right. So anyway, as you can see, we're getting to the point where all we need is a 60 per minute belt to output it. Goes out to the machine. I chopped off the output so the base would die down, but we can turn it on now and our power would shoot up about 4,000 megawatts just from these heavy modular frames. They're crazy. And then we got stators and rotors going into motors. Motors are not really that impressive. I just wanted them because rotors and stators, you kind of need to be building rotors and stators if you want, you know, an impressive base, and motors. So motors, these and supercomputers are kind of the 3 things that are like, they're the big thing. Like there's nothing else that there's nothing that uses them. Well, there's stuff that uses them, but how do I say that? They're not used to build anything else other than buildings, I guess. They're the top tier of their section. There's turbo motors coming up at some point, so those will be using the motors, but for now, anyway, let's have a look over here. I'm actually going to go into the top of this. So this is the computer storage. It's got crap all computers because I cut it off and because they will all be used over here. So we can see manufacturers over here. Let's jump. Whee! Oh my god, I actually landed on the power pole. I actually want to do that, but I wasn't sure if it was going to happen. So here we go. This is a situation where I needed to bulk up the quick wire for all of these computers. So I did it at the far side, like I knew. You can see all of the constructors on top over there. See how far the constructors stretch for bloody steel pipes? I meant to build a ceiling over that section, but I got too lazy at the end, so I didn't. So anyway, this is all the computers using the alternate recipe, which takes a ton of quick wire but produces 3. Again, a clear case of quick wire reducing the cost of every other resource, but quick wire is a pain in the ass to get. But quick wire is the key for your Megabase. If you make a Megabase and you want it to be efficient and you don't want to have, like if I turned off quick wire recipes, I'd probably end up needing like, I don't know, my copper nodes would go from like 6 to like 15 or something stupid like that. Just boom. Iron would go from 4 to 12 or something like that. Or plastic would go through the roof or something. It's just ridiculous. And over here, we've got the big tamale. We've got supercomputers. And pretty much every belt in here is a 60 because it just doesn't need to be that big. I think this one's a 120. No, this is a 60 as well. Supercomputers, they don't use a lot. They use plastic a fair bit. 39 for each one, but even then that's not too bad. And then everything else is just tiny amounts. But my god, the fact that it uses 2 computers is massive considering what it takes to build freaking computers. 8 manufacturers for computers, only 6 for supercomputers, I think. But anyway, this thing is just massive. It did back up though. Look at all this. Have you ever seen a belt full of supercomputers before? Have you? I'm pretty sure you're lying if you say you have, because that is incredible. And let's go over and have a look at the storage. My god, let's have a look at the storage. How many supercomputers have we got? Whoa, that's a lot. That's like, hey, that's almost 1,000. with everything on the belt, I've probably got 1,000 supercomputers. My God. And this took probably like an hour to build all of those. It's like 10 per minute. So 10 per minute, that's 600 per hour. So maybe a bit more than an hour. But there we go. That is brilliant. And I've done the entire base tour now. So what we're going to do is, I would love to, well, you've already seen the long distance view. Oh, crap. Crap. Okay, I did not mean to do that. That was an accident. Actually, I want to get back up there now so we can have a better view. But anyway, you can see over there, this is my old iron plate facility. And you can see these are all the limestones coming in. We got the irons coming in over here. You know what? I'm going to get back up. How do I get off? How do I get off this ride? I don't want to be on here anymore. Oh, God, get off the friggin' ladder. Some games, the ladders, you just slip and fall off and it's a pain in the ass. This one, you get anywhere near the ladder and you are stuck to it like glue. I'm not sure which is worse, but I suspect that falling off is probably worse. So anyway, let's go back up. Let's take a nice long view off the top of the world. Look at this beautiful. Actually, I wonder if I can go over this side. We get a good look at all of this steel things, and we might get a look at the waterfall as well. The waterfall in the distance, which I don't think I really need to cover the waterfall. I mean, you can see the waterfall anyway. But there we go. All of the steel pipe constructors, and there's the waterfall. I actually tried to build conveyor belts up that waterfall before just giving it up and saying that's stupid. And then I built this giant ramp out of concrete for all of the stuff coming down there. There's my two geothermals. You can see in the distance. They're kind of crappy. But anyway, look at that. That is a screenshot for a Megabase right there. That is massive and it's beautiful and it's completely overloaded. And I wonder if my base has died down yet. I'm gonna check and see if the base has died down yet. So anyway, as you might be expecting, there we go. So there was these stupid high-speed converters or correlators or whatever the hell they're called. It's died down completely, so my FPS is probably a little bit better now. But anyway, we are going to turn this base on. You are going to see it in motion, and I've already recorded that bit. Actually, I recorded that bit, so that bit is coming up in just a second. It will be at lower graphics settings because, yeah, you don't want to watch this at 5 FPS. So ultra graphics do have to go away if you want to see the base running. But yeah, so there we go. You will see it in just a sec, and let's get to it. Alrighty, getting back into the second half of the presentation. We can see now, we actually can't see now, but you can see that the graphics have definitely gone down. I've reduced all the graphics settings down to the minimum, and that is because this base is really, really slow with everything turned on. And everything is turned on. We can see right here, motors are coming out on a normal belt, so that's 60 motors per minute, working beautifully. And if we go over here, we can see heavy modular frames. Yes, that's what they're called. Full disclosure, I'm actually recording this before the stuff you've already seen because I had to wait a couple of hours for this to sort of spin up, and I did that before I recorded anything so I could do some power testing to make sure it didn't go over the power limit. And it did. Sorry, I mean it didn't go over the power limit, so everything's beautiful. And then I decided better record this because I don't want to let it shut down and then let it spin up again because that's going to take forever. So anyway, 30 heavy modular frames per minute. I think you'll agree this is approximately how much it's supposed to be. Let's do a bit of a jump. There we go. Now the important thing is that we expect 30 heavy modular frames per minute. These guys each produce 2.8, and I believe we have, let me just have a look at my thing here, my Satisfactory calculator. 11 machines. 11 times 2.8 is 30, and if you have a look at the little identifier up there, you will see that all of these little guys, or big guys I should say, all of them are running. They are all getting resources and so on and so forth. Now I have said that this is a absolute mega factory, and it is. This guy doesn't look like he's doing anything, but of course he is. It's just very, very slow, which is why I need 11 of these bloody machines. But yes, the question you're probably wondering, if you're one of those disbelieving people who think that I don't know. I don't know if anybody thinks I've hoodwinked them, but I feel like at least one person is going to think that I'm pulling a fast one. So I can go around to every single machine and show that it's working, or most machines, but the best thing I can do right now is click on the power pole. Holy crap. Alright, so I've shown you power already, presumably. We are using over 10,000 megawatts, 10 gigawatts. And if you've been following along on the Satisfactory Greenie Dev website, which I linked in the description, and you put in all the values that I had, you will see, let me just Alt-Tab and go over to that tab, that all of the buildings required are 9,250 megawatts. The extra 1,000 and a bit you're seeing there are extras that I've put on for just rounding reasons, like if it needed 13, in some cases I'll push it up to 16 just so the conveyor belts divide equally. And also there's about 1,200 megawatts used for refineries and pumps for the oil that and the fuel that goes into producing all of these megawatts. It's kind of interesting because I'm talking about this before I've talked about anything else, so I'm not exactly sure what I've said, but I will try and remember to say whatever I assume I've said already. So anyway, you can see a lot of belts moving all over the place. Some of them are not moving that fast, some of them are moving very fast. And I'm going to go down really quickly, and we're going to go down to the lowest level. Just for your information, this base did take about an hour and a half to spin up, and the main reason for that is because not these actually, these are getting pretty low. Actually, because of the imbalance in the iron plates, I had to completely clear these out for them to start running. But the reason for the spin up delay is because each individual machine has its own stash, has its own whatever that's called, I can't even remember, but it's got its own bunch of items in there, so that'll stack up to 100 stacks. So this one will empty out, and none of these other machines will really work that fast, because oh, here we go, this thing does pause every now and then. Apologies about that, but it is because this is a slow-ass old computer, and I do have it on the lower settings, but still there's a lot happening. So anyway, you've got all these plates coming out, and that's because this is a 60 per minute, and this is only producing 15 per minute. This one will spit out a lot more plates than it usually would, and all the other ones will get backed up because of the way that mergers work. So that is why there's such a delay, but it's all working now. And if we go down to the very lowest levels, we can see a lot of things moving around. Hopefully some of them are a little bit backed up. I'm not sure exactly why that is. That'll be probably because of, no, actually these ones are going to copper wire, I think. Yeah, I think they're going to copper wire. Maybe there's some copper wire backup. You got to remember, copper wire comes in stacks of 500, so they do take a long time, probably longer than anything else, to actually filter out the stacks. And steel, I would expect to be filtering out slowly as well, simply because there's so many machines, but still seems to be doing all right. Whoa, I shouldn't be using that mouse. I got a very fancy mouse that does spin around sometimes, so I shouldn't be using that. And we can see the coal's still running pretty fast. Fast-ish, not super fast, but anyway, the point is all of the machines are running and our power levels are up nice and high. I don't think it's going to get much higher than this. It could get a little bit higher, but I've got a gap of about 1 gigawatt that I can play with, and based on the calculations I've made, I think I've got enough. I think I've got enough to keep this base running indefinitely. So all of the storages, all of the stashes will eventually run out, or they'll fill up if blah blah blah. And yeah, so that is awesome. I didn't actually show you, I think I showed you the motors and the heavy modular frames being made and the speeds of those, but I didn't actually show you the supercomputers being made. So let's go back up there and let's have a bit of a look at that, and I can show you how awesome that stuff is. So yeah, I actually built the computers up the top as well because it was just easier. So here we go, computers. They are actually, computers are supposed to be produced at 20 per minute. Yes, 20 per minute. It looks like a lot more here, but it's really not. Look at the gap on that belt. Definitely not being produced at 60 per minute if you're worried about that. And the computers actually needed friggin' 8 manufacturers instead of the 6 that the supercomputers made. But here we go, over here. This is what we've all been waiting for. I don't know if we have, but 10 supercomputers per minute. And this is pretty freaking impressive. I mean, it doesn't look very impressive, but considering these guys just, supercomputers, man. So freaking slow. Look at this guy. 1.8. Doesn't even create 2 per minute, creates 1.8. And all of these really complicated stuff. The high-speed connectors are really complicated as well, and this thing is 3 of them. There we go. High-speed connectors all the way. This is creating all the high-speed connectors. That's like 12 manufacturers. That's massive. I'm probably repeating a bunch of stuff that I already said in the video, but I haven't recorded it yet. So anyway, that is the point. This is the video. This is the base. It is massive. I'll probably do another shot. Oh, here we go. Let's get some views off here. Damn this low resolution and low vision, but I had to turn it off because otherwise this base runs at 5 FPS on massive, when it's actually running, because on ultra settings, because yeah, it's just slow. So anyway, this is going to be the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you do want to know any information about any of the cool things I did as part of this video, tricks for setting up conveyor belts, all that other sort of stuff, yeah, let me know. I'll try and answer them. I'm not sure I'll do another video because this is a couple of days before the next main patch comes up, and this game might be destroyed, this save game, but hopefully it's not. I'm not going to continue working on this base because this base was built for a very, very specific set of requirements. 10 supercomputers, 30 heavy modular frames, 60 motors per minute. That's what it's built for. This is not a very modular base. This is not a base that really changes at all, that really can be changed so much. I do have another base, which is a big main bus base, and I can change that all over the place, so that's beautiful. But this base, not so much. So anyway, I'm going to go and I'm going to let all of these fill up, or something like that. I don't know, this one's going to take hours to fill up. Look at how slow it's going. These motors, they'll probably fill up fairly fast. I reckon, I'm not doing the exact maths, but I'd say probably about half an hour to an hour would fill up both of these, maybe even less. Supercomputers though, just forget about it, they're going to take forever. So I might swap that out for a smaller container just to get it closed off, because when I do the first part, everything has to be shut down, everything has to be filled up, so I can put it on ultra and have the FPS behaving beautifully. So anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this base, and yeah, have a good one. Alright, we are back. I know I just ended the video, and I know that the video was awesome, but I just realized that the one thing I really didn't cover too much was awesome shots of massive amounts of conveyor belts going full speed into massive machines. So that is what we're going to be doing right now. I still have the low graphics because the base is still running. It's spinning down at the moment, but it's still running. But anyway, look at that. So that is the high level something or other, the thingamybobs that are an absolute pain in the ass. I don't even know what they're called anymore. High speed connectors, there we go, high speed connectors. So that is all of them. Look at all that quick wire go. That is absolutely fantastic. Let's not use that mouse because it keeps spinning me around. Spin me around. Here we go, let's have a look at this. Oh, that is beautiful. Look at all of that copper wire. It's a bit in the distance, so we're gonna have to get closer. These are 4 belts, sorry. Let's go a little bit faster. Oh, a little bit of pausing there. This is not good. Unfortunately, my computer is still a piece of crap, but there we go. They're looking pretty good. Let's go down, actually. Down's the other way. And let's have a bit of a look at some more impressive displays of belts going everywhere. That's just the belts we saw before. They're pretty impressive. I want to go down here. I want to go over to the other side, a little bit closer to all the copper, so we can see the copper going in. Oh, this is going to be beautiful. I love this view. When you're getting on top of the machine, up, and then you're falling down because you're absolute spastic. There we go. Look at all of those belts go. You can sort of see them below the other one, but look at that. That's like 10, 12 belts, all going in full speed. Very impressive. Let's have a look at the other ones. Look at all these belts. Everything's going really, really fast. Look at this. Look at all these quick wires. Quick wires just going absolutely mental. If we go around here, I believe there's 14 of the 270 belt per minute. Just going in nuts. Look at all of these guys. Just spilling out. Absolutely fantastic. Apologies for the cough. I have not done commenting in some time. But yes, they're looking very, very nice. Let's go down a little bit, because what's down? What's down that we haven't seen so far? Definitely want to show you the rubber and the oil. Rubber and plastic, I think. Because yes, they are a bunch of very big machines. Here we go. There's not much to see in here. This is where all the steel goes into the steel pipe. I've shown you this already, and there is a lot of belts, and it's absolutely crazy. And they're all running, and I can't get anywhere because there's too many belts. Well, and now I'm going across, and I've got no control over myself. Let's just go back, because this is impressive. Look at all these belts coming in, all those belts coming out, and all of that green. There might be some yellow at the back while it's still stashing out, but by now I think it's probably all done, although this one's slowing down a bit, so yeah, maybe there's still a bit of slowness. I don't know. I am not going to just absolutely run this base for like hours and hours and hours to make sure that everything's perfect, because it's just too big and there's no really good way of actually managing in Satisfactory, like balances and that sort of thing. So here we go. A lot of petrol going in. That's interesting. The bottom belt is... Whoa, what is the bottom belt doing? The bottom belt is not... get out of it. The bottom belt is not full, but the top belt is... Oh, the bottom belt is full. It's just because there's a kink. I think it's... No, it's not full. What is going on here? We may have to investigate something, because that belt should be... Stupid. Getting in the way of me. Stupid things. Not full. It should be full, though. These guys should all be full. Okay, I think there is some places where it's not going to be full, because each of these take in 270, and for example this one, where's this go? So I think this is the offshoot of rubber. So rubber needed like 3 and a bit input belts, and then this one needed 2 input belts or something like that. And well, that's interesting, because I got 6. No, I got 6 coming in. I got 2 going up there, and then I got 2 going in here, and I got 2 going over there. That explains it. So, excuse my cough again. So this one, this little belt over here, these guys, when the oil comes in, it comes in at 240. Absolutely 240 per minute. But these guys, the plastic, needs 270. So I can't just take straight out of the storages, because then it's 30 less. So what I did was I took the extra off one of the rubbers and I split it out. You can see the splitter here. Split those 2 sides, merge them in, so that's where the extra 30 comes from. And it's gonna do a little bit less, which actually backs these ones up. These ones should be spitting out 240, and then this one doesn't get... This one should be 240 minus 30 minus 30, which is 180. I think it's doing that much, but I'm not sure. Based on this performance, it might be doing a little bit less. But anyway, actually no. Oh, it's interesting, because this is going along at 60. If I could make a 30, per minute belts, then it would be absolutely beautiful, but I can't. And this is the sort of thing that I wish would actually be improved in Satisfactory, to be able to say, I want to be able to only spit out 30 on this belt, no matter what, no more than that. But anyway, this one spits 60, this one spits 60, so that leaves a total of at least 120 that's going to make it on this belt. It'd be nice if it was 180, and realistically, I was hoping that these guys would back up, so that would stop too much from going out here, but then of course, because of the way that mergers work, it actually backs up the resource from here, which means it's going to back up the actual pump, what the actual pump produces, which is not what I wanted. What I need to do is do a do a 3x3 balancer between these three, and then if these guys were backing up, the extras would go into here, and that would be a 450 into this one, and then I could spit a 450 out into this splitter, which means that it would get an extra bit over there. I wonder if I can actually do that. I could do that, but eventually this thing would empty, and then I'd still be having the same problem. So anyway, enough of that. But anyway, this is cool. All of this oil going really, really fast. Yes, very impressive. All of this coal, you can't see that too much, but yes, a lot of very, very impressive stuff going on here. It's very awesome. But yeah, we definitely need some better logistics tools in this game. Let's go back up and let's have a look. I was going to go over the other side, wasn't I? We got distracted by steel and plastic and frickin' mergers not being smart enough. I know there's a smart merger, but the smart merger, or the programmable merger, I can't remember the one we can get right now, but that one just says this item in this direction, this item in that direction. It doesn't handle ratios or any of that sort of stuff. So yes, let's go back up and let's check out some more cables going really fast. Too low, can't see it properly. There we go. Cables going fast. Unfortunately, can't get much closer than that. Damn it. Oh well, let's go in and let's have a bit of a closer look at the madness, which is the copper wire. This is completely crazy. We've gone over the logistics of how all this is set up and how all this works already. Or at least I hope I have, because I still haven't recorded that bit yet, but bloody splitter. But yeah, look at this. This just looks amazing going through. Absolutely amazing. They must be doing some sort of... Actually, I don't know, because my FPS is down to 20, so maybe they're not doing any sort of algorithms to optimize this stuff. Why are you not running? Oh, you capped out. You completely capped out. We must not be using much copper from whichever with this one is going to. This must not be going into a high throughput output, whereas these ones definitely are, but this one not so much. Which does happen, you know, you say I want to spit out this much copper, and then you use it however you can, and usually it all ends up well, but sometimes because you're building too much, you're overbuilding what the spreadsheet says you need to be building. Sometimes it doesn't get used up all of the belts as much as you would want them to. There we go. Okay, I think we are going to finish off the episode here, because other than these things going really fast, I'm not sure what else I can show you. There we go. Oh, I know exactly what I need to show you. I'm not sure if I've shown you this before, but I definitely haven't shown you this as it's running. The spinny things. Whoa. This one's not as good as a spinny thing. That one's pretty good, but there's actually a better one. There's the concrete and the plastic. Oh, the plastic one's so good. I'm going to go out and I'm going to show you the plastic one. Where is it? I think, so this, you can see there's two rubber in the distance, so that's the first point where it gets off, and then you get two more rubbers. Yeah, so actually down the bottom there's, I think I showed you already, but there's a 2x3 rubber. Well, technically it's 4x2, and then that 2 goes into 3, so it spits out into, here we go, there we go. So this is the last rubber, and then these all come out on these beautiful spinny conveyor deals. And look at this beautiful thing. So you got 3 rubber and 1 plastic, all going around in a circle on a 450 belt. That is beautiful. We got similar stuff for concrete, but that's only on a 270, and these guys only go up 1 level, and these guys go up only 1 level. on the new patch they got a beautiful thing which makes this absolutely unnecessary, but yeah, this is beautiful. This is stalling my computer again. I apologize, but this is beautiful. Anyway, so we've shown you some cool conveyor belts going around and around. This one's not going that fast. Why are you not going that fast? Actually, that probably makes sense because all of the stuff at the top is probably slowing down. I think I've shut down a bunch of things actually. So, look at this beautiful view of the plastic. And this is a lot of machines. I was really worried when I was building the base that putting this many refineries was just going to send me broke when it comes to power. I was like, how am I going to reproduce all this? And then of course I found the 10 oil pumps in the distance and I'm like, oh thank God I'm saved. Because I was looking at the map and I was like, this is a mirage, you know, there's not actually anything over there. Somebody's just trolling me and they're not going to be there and I'm never going to be able to power this base. Because we were right up to the wire in terms of resources. I didn't think we were going to be able to get everything, but between the bloody six times 240 belts coming in just for barrels, just for usage, and the bloody, because coal was never going to power all this, and there's just not enough geysers for geothermal, so it had to be oil. And my God, we managed to do it. So there we go. I am going to finish this off now. How are we looking over there? All these guys are pretty much backed up. There might be still one or two filling up. That's the problem with the stacking. They take a while to fill up. All of these guys are going to be filled up. They would have been filled up quicker. These are stopped. Yeah. Quick wire is still going. Oh, let's have a look down there. Look at all of that. There's like 5 stories up, but that is a massive, beautiful view. Look at all those crazy things going on. This should have this viewpoint in like the Satisfactory trailer, because this is just magnificent. I'm not going to go any further forward though, because I don't want to fall down, but that is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I kind of don't want to stop recording it, but I kind of have to. Let's just go over and see how this side is going. I was originally intending to let the supercomputers and the computers just stack up. I switched this over to a normal H1, like a normal half-size storage. I was going to let it wait, but I didn't really have the patience because these guys produce so slow, and then I'd have to wait for the computers. I cut the computers off as well, because these guys were barely filling up because they were being used by the supercomputers, and I've waited for this base to fill up, and the other two, like I said, will fill up in like half an hour. But these guys, I don't know if they'd fill up in half an hour. I think they would take longer, simply because computers are just crazy. Holy shit, there we go, that is beautiful. That is beautiful, look at all of that goodness. Oh man, we're just gonna finish the video off right here, looking down at these belts going nuts. Hopefully those circuit boards should back up soon, but yes, absolutely brilliant. So, this is the final right here. This is the finale. Thank you very much for watching this video. I do hope you enjoyed it. As again, if you've got anything else you want to ask me, yeah, definitely let me know. If you want to see any more videos about this, about anything I've done, let me know. And if my save game still works after I move on to the next thing, then I will try and show some stuff. But anyway, there we go. Thank you very much. I will see you guys later.